Bernard. He was asked by Keith Edwards at the rally about Democrats' attempts, like centrist Democrats and corporate Democrats, and their attempts to separate from someone like myself in the movement that or a piece of the movement that I represent.
Senator Sanders, thank you so much for meeting with me. I think the lesson from 2024 was we're supposed to send Democrats anywhere and everywhere where they'll listen to us, and you will go to Joe Rogan. You'll talk to most people. I'm wondering what you think about this whole narrative around Hasan Piker and some Democrats just saying they're never going to go on his show.
Well, I've talked to Hasan, and I'm doing in many respects. The bottom line is that we have got to communicate with people. It's fine to talk to everybody you know in your neighborhood. People agree with you on everything. But I've been on Joe Rogan's show, as you understand.
You got a lot of heat for that.
Of course I did. And I disagree with Joe Rogan on this or that issue. But the last that I heard, you can disagree with me, right?
I
what
hope
about
so.
America is supposed to be about.
Yeah.
Put the mic closer to him. He literally has a chest lapel chatter. Calm down.
But if you give me a civil discourse, we have an intelligent discussion, fine. Disagree with me on an issue or not, period.
Senator Sanders, thank you.
It's that simple. We're not always going to agree on everything, but it's like ridiculous to engage in this kind of like quote mining and try to create like unnecessary tension when we all know what the real reason for that unnecessary tension actually is. And it's because I'm not a controllable entity. I don't care about the interests of the donors. And I'm reflective of the attitudes that a lot of people have in the base of the Democratic Party. And Democrats would rather kill themselves than and kill their careers and kill their movement, kill their party, than allow for a crumb of that demand to flow through into the communications of the party. They just don't. They hate their base. We're trying to change that. And it's so funny because like these guys for years and years would say Hasan doesn't care about elections. He doesn't care about the Democratic Party at all. And it's like, okay, now we have candidates, right? And we have had candidates for like the last decade that we're trying to prop up that are more reflective and more responsive to the needs of the base. And all of a sudden, they're freaking the out. Why are they freaking the out? I thought you didn't want me to. I thought you were saying, I thought that you were saying that we don't care about the elections. We don't care about the Democratic Party. Clearly, we do. We want something to change, right? It's so strange. I mean, it's expected, but it's just like so self-defeating, and they're not stopping. I don't know why. I don't know why they don't recognize that this is like not going to work out, right? It's just not going to work out. It's not working out for them because even their maximalist goals here, their maximalist goals here are what? Their maximalist goals here are to disparage me to such a degree that, Democrats don't associate with me. Okay, who gives a shit? That's not going to stop my commentary. I'm still going to support candidates that I like, that are more responsive to the needs of the base. I'm still going to support candidates that are putting the working class first, candidates that are anti-Zionist, right? That's not going to change my advocacy at all. So who gives a shit? Okay. I don't appear alongside candidates because it boosts my profile. These guys don't understand that. Okay. I don't appear alongside candidates that to boost my profile. I appear alongside candidates to boost their profile. And I think some of them maybe recognize this, but I think many of them don't. Many of them legitimately think, oh, you're getting like, you're getting positive coverage from the New York Times, and that's like legitimizing you and your worldview. It's unacceptable. It's like, I already have my own outlet. I already have my own, unlimited tool to communicate with people uninterrupted for 8 hours a day. It just doesn't. It doesn't help. It doesn't work that way. I think they are seeing in you a real menace of the current model, a younger, more moral Bernie that could lift the drapes and see the real evil behind the U.S. admin. I think it's just this is a vehicle to launch and sincerely push back against pro-corporate Democrats. That's what it is. If you look to the performance of a Kat Alba-Ghazaleh, for example, an unknown entity that isn't even from the area where she ran, who got second place and was within striking distance of Daniel Biss, who got propped up by all of the different organs of the party. And Daniel Biss himself is not like the most centrist candidate, but like even that wasn't enough for a lot of voters in a place like Illinois. That's a terrifying prospect. That's a terrifying prospect for the party. Okay, if your goal is to somehow control and make sure that the outlet and the resentment from the base is still feeding back to candidates like McMorrow or candidates like Daniel Biss, and your goal is to make sure that like you still have some control over who gets elected, so it's easier to caucus with the rest of the party. Yeah, you're gonna hate that there's an outsider who is basically, and I'm not alone in this, by the way. There's plenty of other people who are doing this as well, but like I guess like the most visible aspect of this resentment, but an outsider that can like undermine the impact of a unlimited money faucet like AIPAC fairly significantly is very dangerous. You think these guys would be writing shit like this about me if I was, you know, like a chorus style content creator? What do you think? I mean, think about the way that they are like attacking Plattner too. Everybody in the party put all of their weight. Wait, what is this? Sorry. They put all of their weight behind Janet Mills, Pills Mafia, right? Sorry, I got a text message. And look at what Graham Plattner did. He cooked it. He cooked it in spectacular fashion. And you know, that was devastating. If you're a centrist, if you're a corporate lobbyist, you hear that and you're like, what the like, this guy's leading by almost 10 points, our candidate that we literally gave all of the mechanisms of the party to. You know, it's clear. They don't want more Zoran style candidates to prop up, and not because they're afraid. Okay. They don't want more Zoran style candidates to prop up, not because they're afraid that this is going to lead to like the national party looking bad. They're afraid of the success. They're afraid of the success and the national prominence of people like Zoran, because people like Zoran show that there is an alternative out there. Okay. There is an alternative out there where a politician can be responsive to the needs of the masses and actually work tirelessly to fight, work tirelessly to show that the government can be good. And this will force all of these other Democrats in the party to also start doing their jobs. And they don't want to do that. They want to collect checks. They can't stop all insurgent candidates, but they can use Hasan's unpopularity to sink candidates with constant TV ads and slop. Hasan's unpopularity is ridiculous. Why are you, dude? God damn, brother. Literally, my worst fan. I swear to God, you have just seen. You have literally seen in the last week that this is unbelievably unpopular. Okay, unbelievably unpopular, and you're a 59-month subscriber. Interpreting this situation as though it's like even in any way, shape, or form successful. It literally failed with Zoran. God damn, dude. No, Hideo Offliner is one of the worst chatters in this community, like notoriously. The one that is consistently talking about how you always pay so much attention to drama, blah, 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 always. It's Hio Day, not Hideo, whatever. Damn, you know your chatters? Of course I do, especially the more annoying ones. But the best chatters I know very well.
Tapper is racist Zionism. I saw he was retweeting anti-Hasan stuff this morning. Yeah, and it appears like, you know, maybe Tapper wants to move out of the late afternoon and move into a late night anchorship. You know, there's a lot of things that people are doing right now to audition for the new owners of the
the whole
network.
podcast like set that they've set up is completely to appeal to Barry Weiss.
Yes,
it's completely to appeal to her. It's so
well, she's doing such a great job.
All of this
CBS.
is so embarrassing. All the stuff too around Hasan is so embarrassing because they like. Here's the thing. The idea that they can sort of like drive a wedge between Hasan and Democratic lawmakers, no one cares. No one cares. It is such a Pyrrhic victory. No one cares because the politicians that are interested in Hasan, they're going to continue to watch Hasan. They're going to continue to talk to Hasan. I mean, it is.
They also can't decide if Hasan is not impactful enough, which we're seeing some articles about how, well, MSNBC really dwarfs his ratings, or if he's so terrifying that there needs to be this smear campaign against him. Like, pick which one. Is it a problem that the politicians go on his stream, or if your theory is right, it will discredit them. But the problem is that they know that that's not the case. So what McMorrow is doing by throwing Hasan under the bus is like, she doesn't want to go after her opponent directly because, and like maybe accuse him of anti-Semitism, because that's just a dog whistle for Islamophobia in some of these contexts. And two, she's auditioning for the Zionist donors that are growing tired of the losing campaign of Haley Stevens. So she's like, I'm open for business if you want to support me with some independent expenditures. And now she's calling for McMorrow 5 different debates. What do the internals say right now about Abdul al-Sayed? I hope that Stevens and McMorrow are cannibalizing one another. But I also saw that after this Hasan thing, Abdul al-Sayed's fundraising went up. So is Hasan a liability?
Well,
or
we know what it is.
Are you guys worried that it's the opposite?
Hasan is massively popular, and especially with people that the Democrats want to get to vote for them. And
Yeah, also, I'm not massively popular because I'm like some kind of special talent, right? I'm not a kingmaker, and I'm not massively popular because I offer something unique. The reason why I'm popular is because I have convictions, and for years and years, I have defended these convictions. And it turns out a lot of people, after a string of defeats, have started to recognize the same exact things that I've been talking about for a decade and a decade plus. That's it. So taking me out of the equation wouldn't even help change that resentment, right? That's it. That's why I say I am simply just a megaphone. I offer a voice to the voiceless. I offer a voice to people that are often unheard. That's my job.
they can't admit that's true, because then what are they for? Money.
In Michigan, where we literally, it was so central to 2024 how that election was lost with and it wasn't just Muslim and Arab people that were just.
See, that's the reason that Democrats think they could do this, because traditionally they relied on mainstream media gatekeeping and access trading to keep the left marginalized from the base. Unfortunately for them, everyone under the age of 50 is now on alternative media. You represent their loss of control. Chorus creators are the people that are trying to offer access and money in order to control social media. They hate that you are offering a real left alternative directly. Yeah, I mean, I think that's what it is. Like, they set up... I don't even think the chorus creators necessarily are like anti-Abdul either. But I think at the end of the day, they are a little bit more controllable as a group. Because no chorus creator is going to come out and be like, yeah, I'm not voting for Gavin Newsom. Like, you know what I mean? They're just not going to do that, right? Like, there's certain lines that they won't cross, and therefore they can still, they can still be considered like a controllable entity, right? Like, I'm not agnostic to every Democratic candidate. There are Democrats that I am opposing. I will say it openly, right? If you're a pro-Israel Democrat, I oppose you. I will work to try to unseat you. I don't think chorus creators are going to do that aggressively or even openly. Like, they'll offer a platform to people that are doing that, but they're not going to like actively put their weight behind like Oliver Larkin, for example, right? That's the type of shit that's not going to happen. And they're agnostic to, I guess, like in the McMorrow Abdul al-Sayed race, like, they'll talk to both of these candidates. They from their perspective, it's just like doesn't mean too much of a difference. It means a lot to me. It means a lot to us. But from the perspective of like Media Matters, for example, like it's just not that significant of a difference as long as it's a Democrat. You feel me?
Disgusted by the genocide in Gaza, but it is a very acute example with a large Arab and Muslim population in Michigan as to where this could actually be a direct liability as well.
It is. I don't know. I guess just from my own perspective, just watching the same moves, it's like watching, like if you were to take a basketball, you could take Bob Cousy and put him on the court now. Yeah. All of a sudden it's like, wait a second, no, the game is completely different now. Like
Y.A. Tittle should not be out there with Lamar Jackson.
It's just so for me, from my perspective, it is so encouraging to just see like how off-footed they are.
Yes.
Like they have.
But we're not the audience, and voters, I don't think, are the audience. I think it's donors.
Well, that's right. But the point is, it used to be the audience. Like this used to resonate with voters, and now what you're watching is like this is the bare knuckle, hopefully last grasp of these people, where like they can no longer use popular opinion to influence the donors and keep that money coming. They're actually just having to sort of like bypass, and their sales pitch is getting to a narrower and narrower audience, one that at the end.
Bro, you lost literally no one on any of your platforms. It's just elite signaling to other elites. They have no motion. I would go so far as say it's a backfire, right? Abdul Al-Sayed has been able to reach the top 5 in fundraisers past week as this like media cycle started kicking into high gear. And not only that, but a lot of people who don't know who the I am, probably for the first time ever, heard my name and were like, let me look into this guy, right? Let me look into this guy. And there's a version of that, obviously. Where is it? That I was going to show you. Here's the one thing that I was going to show you. It's just unbelievable. Jewish Insider is so crazy, dude. The way that they approach this issue, they just come across as like hysterical, right? I mean, it's so totally ridiculous. Like, look at this. Hasan Piker Mirage, when social media extremism meets political reality. Out of bounds. Ted Deutsch compares Hasan Piker to Nick Fuentes, says Dem should shun him. McMurrow slams Al-Sayed for campaigning with Hasan Piker, compares Piker to Nick Fuentes. Hasan Piker becomes flashpoint in Democratic infighting. Elisa Slotkin and Haley Stevens criticize Al-Sayed over rallies with Hasan Piker. Representative Brad Schneider, new Dems chair, urges Democrats to disavow Hasan Piker. Dem divide on Hasan Piker ties. Third Way calls out Abdul Al-Sayed's embrace of Hasan Piker. And it's like, this is just since March 24th, man. In the last 6 days. In the last 6 days, like, you're out of your dang mind for writing this. You come across like you're hysterical. You come across like you're defending the indefensible. Okay? People don't look at this and go, wow, this Hasan Piker guy sure sucks ass. They go, wait a minute, why are all these pro-Israel institutions actively coming after this person? And that doesn't end up causing people to think, oh, I hate this guy, I'm going to shy away from this guy. That ends up causing people to go, wait, I like this guy. This guy rocks. I didn't know about this guy at all.
Everybody watch what's going to start happening. It's already happening. If you don't know who he is, and some of you don't, this is Hasan Piker. And he is unabashedly anti-corruption. And he's on the left, except the left hates him. The Democratic establishment, the centrists, absolutely hate him because he calls out the corruption from the Democratic Party as much as he calls out the corruption from the Republican Party. And he's gaining and he's so popular with young men. He's the blue pill pipeline that the Democrats need to pull in young, vulnerable men so they don't get caught up and swallowed up by the red pill content. I mean, it's already bad enough that you had Charlie Kirk, and then you got Ben Shapiro, and you've got Nick Fuentes, and the list goes on. And we don't have hardly anybody on the left, but we do have him, and he's killing it. He's killing it. And a lot of people on the left don't like him because he speaks to his base, which are primarily young men. So whatever. If you listen to what he has to say, point by point by point, what is wrong with this country, why both parties are corrupt, how they're corrupt, and what kind of economic and social programs and platforms we need to fix this country. If you're a Democrat, you're going to agree with him on every single point, unless you are a Zionist. Then you're going to hate him.
Zionist.
Okay? But I'm giving you this warning.
She's nailed it. She's nailing it. That's like
Warning right now, because he is being viciously attacked. Why? He's getting plugged in electorally. He's endorsing progressives who are running. He is doing travel circuits with people like Bernie Sanders. energizing people to get out and vote for progressives and to vote for candidates who are going to give you affordable health care and not send our tax dollars to other countries that start with an I. And you know who's attacking him? The Democratic establishment. That multi-million-dollar pool of privileged millionaires who consult with all the centrist Democratic candidates and politicians to telling them to feed us, whisper sweet nothings to us so that once we elect them, we get nothing from them. They are out and they are attacking him. So I'm just giving you the heads up. This is Hasan Piker. You're going to be seeing a lot more of him, and you might be confused because of what you're hearing. But question the source, do your own research, listen to him before you fall for the propaganda designed to destroy progressives.
God damn. Let's go. I like anyone who calls out both sides. Democratic Party isn't the left. I actually like the idea of calling out both parties. No one is above criticism. If Bernie likes them, I like them. Dems after the election, we need a left-wing Joe Rogan, Hasan Piker exists. Dems, that guy in particular. Yeah, there's also the obvious inconsistencies that we've seen. There's also the Islamophobia that we've seen. But there's the clear-cut inconsistency, which is, of course, even the very same people. Look, this person said, if there's one thing Democratic women love, it's being referred to as a lot of Barbs and Deborahs. Yeah, I'm saying that, like, Barbaras and Deborahs that have no idea who I am have the same exact resentment. Okay? That's it. It's so crazy. But what I was going to cover is, where is it? There's like, oh, here it is. Here is Elisa Slotkin, who very clearly did not even know anything about me whatsoever, got a boss call and literally just straight up said whatever they put in front of her, okay? Because she straight up said, I don't know anything about Hasan, but it seems like he conflates Judaism with Zionism, and that's a pretty anti-Semitic thing to do. It's like, no, I actually do the exact opposite of that. Thank you, Elisa Slotkin. As a matter of fact, I do the exact opposite of that. That's part of the reason why a lot of people who do that, like Jonathan Greenblatt, hate me. Also, the Barbas and Deborahs is not even remotely misogynistic. It's like saying Tom, Dick, and Harry, okay? It's so stupid. But anyway, let's hear what Elisa Slotkin had to say about inadequacies within the Democratic Party's approach to creating a bigger tent on the premier Islamophobic show, Bill Maher.
Messaging, that's not going to be ever something that I'm going to defend. That's part of the problem and why we lost the last election, and we can have a whole autopsy about that.
If we want to discuss what went bad in the last election, we can have a whole autopsy about that. There was. The Democratic Party really are such bad liars that, like, they think that if they just throw a Midwestern accent on someone and they say every once in a while, that's going to make them relatable or make us all forget that there was indeed, in fact, actually an autopsy that you could have had a conversation about, but you chose to hide it. And you chose to hide it because you actually don't really want to have a conversation about what went wrong in the last election and why you lost.
For me, what is important going forward, whether you're a Democrat or a Republican, is like the American people, they're telling us something. They want something different out of their government. They want some alpha energy from their leaders. And they certainly, whether you agree with them or not, are getting that from some of the Republicans. And my plea to my own party is like, can we have a little bit more alpha energy?
Yeah, but God forbid you got a Twitch streamer who does have a popular base in this demographic who presents himself in a vulgar way. God forbid. Yeah, I'm vulgar. I'm uncompromising. It turns out it's also popular. But now you're using that in the same exact way that these guys also yelled at Joe Rogan.
Punch and believe in what we believe in and show people that we give a shit and be simple about addressing the needs that they care about the most. And that has been a struggle, and I'm here to be a part of that change.
They're looking for alpha energy, huh? Well, what's this? Why are you guys trying to run him out of town? Elisa Slotkin says she wants to be a part of that change. And so naturally, she put out a statement with other hack Democratic corporatist pro-Israel shills to condemn Abdul al-Sayed, who's running in Michigan for the Senate, for doing a rally with Hasan Piker.
Also, Abdul al-Sayed is that guy as well. I mean, the dude can bench press 3 plates, man. Come on, dude. What Republican is capable of doing that? And you're out here criticizing him because all of this like back and forth is not actually about like trying to figure out who is perfect for the aesthetic and what kind of policies are RFK Jr. Bitch, RFK Jr. can't do 3 plates. He would perish. What are you talking about? RFK has entered the chat. No, it's just all they don't actually want to identify why they've lost a lot of their base. Okay. They just want a Joe Rogan that they can control. They want not even the Podjons. I would say in the past, I would say like, oh, they want like a Podjon that can bench press, but that's not even what they want because the Podjons are also a little bit more progressive than they like. They want a totally manufactured content creator that is endlessly controllable. Always have to go back to this. You were the only one competing versus the right. Yeah. Like there's a reason. There's a reason why I was the only person on this list, and these guys are botted anyway, but I was the only person on this list who's not a right-wing dude. Dan Bongino, Steven Crowder, totally fake. It's Rumble, but it doesn't matter, right? Regardless, I'm at 3rd slot by myself. And what were the centrist pro-Israel Democrats doing leading up to the election night? This is when I got blacklisted too. And in spite of getting blacklisted by Twitch because of all that pressure on election night, I still had 314,000 live concurrent viewers. Okay? Patrick Bet-David, Charlie Kirk, Benny Johnson, Asmongold, Charlie Kirk again. I don't know why he's Charlie Kirk twice. Tucker Carlson, Tim Pool. Do you understand? I was Rumble and YouTube. Double Kirked up. Like, these guys should be thanking their lucky stars that I'm an endlessly stubborn who's just not going to, who's just going to keep fighting for the things that I believe in an uncompromising manner, right? Like I eat it from all of these other on this lineup, right? All of these other reactionary right-wing dickheads on this lineup on a daily fucking basis. And then I just have to sit there and eat it from the Democrats too. Holy shit. I just have to sit there and get a barrage of hate from centrist right-wing Democrats. Yeah, I mean, who wants an end to the foreign wars of universal hooker? Nobody. If there's anybody that deserves to be crushed, it's the Hasan Piker left, Kathy Young says. American flag, Ukraine flag, Israel flag in the bio. These guys don't have a real constituency, okay? But yeah, a lot of people have reached out. A lot of people have reached out to be like, dude, do you feel all right? Like, people are really on your ass. Do you feel okay? Do you feel okay? I'm like, yeah, of course I feel okay. You want to know why? Because I've been eating this from both liberals and right-wing reactionary dickheads since October 8th, 2023. But back then, the overwhelming majority of Americans were either completely oblivious to the conditions on the ground for Palestinians, or they were super pro-Israel. And that environment has shifted now. So I don't feel lonely at all. These guys can keep chirping and calling the manager over and over again. But at the end of the day, the majority, the base of support is with us. We represent the moral center. That's it. That's it. So it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Hasan Piker, who is the alpha energy she keeps saying that they want, who is incredibly popular with young men, a demographic that they say they want to appeal to. They're trying to cancel him. Right now, she's putting out statements with other establishment Democrat hacks condemning a Democratic Senate candidate for campaigning with Hasan Piker. I love how she has the nerve to condemn Abdul Al-Sayed for campaigning with Hasan Piker because God forbid someone running in the Democratic Party actually tried to appeal to men. Here's another example, regardless of how you feel about Graham Plattner, okay? This guy's masculine as fuck. Okay, the testosterone is coming through the screen. But who is it that Slopkin and the Democratic Party are pushing in this race? The 80-something-year-old, of course. But imagine having the nerve to condemn Hasan Piker as you sat on Boomer Mars' panel, who is an unapologetic, racist, Islamophobic, anti-Arab bigot. Sit the down.
Yeah. The double standard is also, like, even people who aren't as in tune with like Islamophobia or don't understand it, like the average American is not like super sympathetic to people talking about Islamophobia, right? Another one of your Senator Ops being hypocritical yesterday. We cannot cancel everyone. Oh yeah, no, that's another classic inconsistency. It's like we cannot cancel everybody except for people who actually call out Israel. We should cancel those people, even though it's like the most popular position in the country right now that literally unites young Republicans and also everyone under the age of 50, pretty much. Mehdi Hasan. So a couple things. Hasan the Hun has gone out of his way to separate Judaism and Jews from Zionism and Israel. There are multiple clips going back years for him saying so. It's his critics like the ADL who keep conflating the two. Senator Slotkin went on Bill Maher on Friday. Why? Did she confront him on his long history of much more brazen and proud anti-Muslim, anti-Arab bigotry? If not, why not? Yeah. Jake Hanrahan, a Vice News journalist, posted a story about your Cuba trip. Can't link as I'm not subbed. I don't care about Jake Hanrahan. I've told you this before. Yeah, Jasper Nathaniel has a good, funny take on this as well. If there was any other story that mattered to the Jewish community right now, I'd say it was weird that Jewish Insider has just entered week 4 of Hasan Piker headlines, but there's not. So it's totally fine and normal. Thank you for your heroic work, Josh Krauscher. Like, is there legitimately that much? Like, what are we talking about here? How is this the discourse still? Like, who are you appealing to? I know who they're appealing to. They're not appealing to like the actual readership of Jewish Insider. They're appealing to the donors. There's big donors that have made up their minds that like, I am a threat. Okay. That's it. And they're obviously putting a lot of money behind this kind of initiative. Yeah. Donors and self-interested consultants. Cory Booker said that he would not go on my stream. First of all, he wasn't invited. Okay. But Cory Booker has no issues aligning with Yoav Gallant, taking photos with Yoav Gallant, war criminal Yoav Gallant, former Israeli defense minister that is now an indicted war criminal by the International Criminal Court, Yoav Gallant. He has no problems taking photos. Well, he tries to hide in the photos that he takes with Bibi, Benjamin Netanyahu. But like, these are the people that he's linking up with who are horrible monsters and also deeply, deeply unpopular. But that guy is going to sit there and be like, well, you know, it's a bridge too far.
For everyone, you write, quote, we cannot cancel everyone who fails a purity test. We cannot exile those who don't align with our every belief, however passionately we hold it. Coalitions that are only composed of the already converted cannot change the country. If everyone in your coalition agrees with you on everything, your coalition is too small to make big change. And
yeah, he's talking about right-wingers. That's it. Do you understand? Do you understand? This wrote a book where he said, oh, our tent is too small, but we must make it smaller. We cannot have the left flank in there, in that tent. We got to go rightward. That's what they're saying. They're saying it openly. This is the exact same thing that Kamala Harris did with Liz Cheney. They have decided that they are going to keep doing the same thing that led to failure after failure. Okay? It blows my mind that they're like, no, we'll just court the centrist voters. They're looking for a reasonable version of the Republican that you see, and we will be that reasonable version of Republican fascism. Democrats, prominent Democrats like this, openly give the game away. They say the quiet part out loud when they say this. We cannot align with people who are anti-Israel, people who are socialists. We cannot align with them, even if they voted consistently for the Democratic Party, even if they have candidates that they advance, candidates who are unimaginably popular within the Democratic Party's base. We cannot have those people. What we must do is go further and further right and normalize right-wing fascism and keep losing to the Republicans, because at the end of the day, people are going to look at the situation and go, okay, if you're agreeing and admitting that the Republicans were right, why the fuck would I vote for you? Why would I give my vote to you? Well, it seems like those guys were on the right side all along. You're admitting it too. I don't want Republicans to win. I want Republicans to lose. Okay? I want to go further beyond what the Democrats have done. I want the Democrats to not only eke out a marginal victory, but I want the Democrats to be more responsive to the needs of the American working class. Okay? To chart a better trajectory for the United States of America. But even then, these guys' attitude, the attitude that they demonstrate is a failure. And I don't even need to repeat myself over and over again on this issue because everyone understands that it's a failure. That's why I brought up the Barbaras and the Deborahs, right? Like people that are not in my fan base, people that are not even in the demographics of my community are also recognizing that same resentment. The ones that go to the No Kings rallies, they also are frustrated with business as usual politics from the Democrats. Go ahead. Keep chirping like this. Keep saying we are going to build a coalition with moderates, with centrists. Anyway, Sammy Gold had a take on this as well. Jeremiah Johnson, another one of my major ops, one of these like neoliberals, also alongside Matty Iglesias, coming to terms with the reality that Israel is cancerous for elections. Okay, Israel's poison for elections. Okay, defending Israel is poisonous. You're gonna lose, right? Have there been any broadly pro-Israel groups that have taken an honest look at why Israel's popularity is cratered? Anyone doing self-reflection instead of just blaming it on anti-Semitism? Because anti-Semitism is real and rising, but it doesn't explain most of what's happening. That's it. It took them 3 years to get here, okay? It took them 3 years to get here, but even the annoying centrists who despise me have to bend the knee, okay? They have to bend the knee because this is the reality. Online celebrity leftists misunderstand the motives of normie Democrats who are ideologically diverse and embrace the reality. This person literally is a pro-Israel op, by the way. I don't know why they even tried to present themselves as anything but like an agent for the Israeli state. I have no issue saying that. Literally every day of the week, she'll try to either attack critics of Israel or slam into the narrative that like, oh, you're casting aside Jews and black voters by alienating your base by presenting an anti-Israel stance, as though like there's anyone in the base of support that demands more pro-Israel sentiment from the Democrats. It's the exact opposite. Okay. Online celebrity leftists misunderstand the motives of normie Democrats. We're ideological diverse and embrace the reality of a big tent. We're not anti-progressive or pro-moderate. We just want to beat Republicans. We think the aforementioned leftist sabotage this goal. If you want to argue with us, you have to address the actual points we're making, not just scream about ideological suppression. We believe you are saboteurs. Yeah, no one actually believes this anymore. This is like the old method. The Bernie Sanders actually tanked Hillary Clinton's presidency method. That worked in 2016. It convinced a lot of Democratic voters, okay? It created a lot of resentment against Bernie. Guess what? It's 2026. It's been a decade, okay? And failure after failure has led those exact same people that used to say that to realize that Bernie was right, okay? That's it. These are the very same people that were genuinely convinced they really wanted to beat the Republicans, and failure after failure to the same exact Republican. The 2016 failure was not enough, but the 2024 failure absolutely showed everyone in the base that this was not working, that there is an alternative out there and they need to lean into it. That's why Bernie-crats are popping up left and right around the country with a very unique demographic. Not only the youth, not only the Hispanic voters, the ones that were like cast aside by the Democrats for years. Bernie has always locked down those constituencies, young men specifically, right? But now, especially in the primaries, they are winning the older, college-educated, white liberals that live in the suburbs who just don't want Republicans to win, who first and foremost care about this is good for the election. This candidate will win over the Republicans' arguments, right? The electability arguments. The electability arguments were concocted by mainstream instruments for the longest time. Mainstream institutions for the longest time said the most electable Democrat is a moderate Democrat. The most electable Democrat is a Democrat that is close to the Republican side, but more reasonable, that props up these institutions. People don't believe that anymore. They've seen those failures, okay? They've seen those failures personally, and they arrived at those conclusions themselves. They didn't arrive at those conclusions because they watched my stream, okay? Can I just point out how the biggest win we've had on the populist left is Zoran? How's that working out? His popularity is climbing. Exactly. And it is also, it should not be lost upon any of us that the most coordinated online political action we've seen from the Democrats since Donald Trump's reelection has been to go after me and my left-leaning and my left-leaning counterparts in the media, right? Not go after a single policy of Trump in the same way. Like, I've never seen the Democrats so organized, like the centrist establishment Democrats so organized. It's unbelievable. For the record, for those who still say, well, Bernie lost, right? For those who still say, well, Bernie lost, right? You have to remember, Bernie, at least in 2016, had a much easier time winning the general than he did in the primaries, because the primary system farms out those very same high propensity voters that are super tuned into what MSNBC narratives look like, and they care about electability arguments first and foremost. Okay? So in 2016, they believed those electability arguments, and that's why it was so difficult for Bernie to make it out of the primary. All of those people that are lifelong Democratic Party voters would have still voted for Bernie Sanders over Hillary Clinton. They were not going to say, oh, he's too scary, he's a socialist. They would have still voted for him. And all the low propensity voters would have been more convinced by a guy who was actually a populist as opposed to Donald Trump, who was a billionaire, right? Think about it. 2016, billionaire versus anti-billionaire. Who wins that race? Bernie absolutely would have destroyed. And there were plenty of polls that showed that Bernie would have defeated Trump handily at the time as well. But those electability arguments could not reach enough people because left media and independent media was not where it is right now. Obviously, there were structural changes that took place since 2016 as well. It wasn't just that independent leftist media grew in popularity as mainstream media lost its grip, lost its capacity to influence people, right? But leftist media grew, but also people's reliance on independent outlets grew as well, like tremendously. That's why this kind of mainstream narratives that are concocted don't have the same, they just simply don't have the same impact, okay? It's funny that the media treats Hasan Piker like he's basically in the Weather Underground when he's just actually a moderate socialist. Hasan would be in the SMC. Okay. Emerge, in my opinion. Seems more like a Groundworks type. He's too willing to criticize AOC and Zoran to be SMC. I think he's more unaligned centrist type. Honestly, pretty similar politics to myself, probably. They're talking about which caucus I'd fit in inside of the DSA structure. The funniest part about the Dem establishment is Hasan Piker panic spiral is Hasan saying, I never asked any of these people to come on. Yeah, that's true. The irony is thick. Liberals are drooling over very handsome, terror-cheering leftist Hasan Piker after fawning New York Times profile.